serious bookworm to present to y'all some of the book reviews that I read. This is on a serious note, man. So, like I've always said to people, man, I can read books. I read books, and I usually take the time to really read and analyze them, you know. But this is just a little sample that what I'm going to present to y'all, because when I read some of these type of books, it really gives me a great perspective of things on how we look at this world, or I should say the States of America, you know. So I just wanted to give y'all an example of some of the books that I read. The New Jim Crow, Mass Incarceration in the Age of Colorblindness. This is authored by Michelle Alexander, and this is the 10th anniversary edition. Now, keep in mind that I already heard of this book when it first came out in 2010. This was around the time when Barack Obama was elected, or he was, president. So I believe that during that time period, the recession was going on, and me personally, I have hit some hard times around 2009, 2010. I've hit some really hard times. I just didn't know how to manage myself with finances. But I digress. The one thing I'm going to say about this part of the book, because I'm going to give y'all the full review of the book soon, but this goes to show the wicked government and the crazy rigged system, because people try to say that racism don't exist, but y'all know damn well it does. And it always kills me that I'm not talking about every white person or white, you know what I mean? Because I don't like to paint all white people with a broad brush. But I'm talking about those racists, those supremacists that try to say that racism don't exist. You got to pull yourself up by the bootstraps, and that's a bunch of baloney, man. It's a bunch of baloney, and you know it. A lot of these guys know it, but they like to play dumb. They like to insult. One thing that I don't like, and it's a pet peeve, I don't like when people try to insult my intelligence. You're not going to sit here and tell me that racism don't exist when you look at the historic events that occurred, you know the racism exists. They may not exist in the way of the baby boomers, silent generations, and even Gen X. It may not be like how it was back then, but you best to rest assured it's still around in some way, shape, or form. One part that I wanted to talk about in this book is I read the part that I'm not going to say the full page, but just some of it. In recent years, formerly incarcerated and convicted people have challenged the use of these labels and offered alternatives such as returning citizen. A similar effort has been underway to persuade journalists and others to abandon the use of the term illegals to describe people who are in this country without proper documentation, and to use the term undocumented immigrant instead. Although some have argued that it's cumbersome to say formerly incarcerated rather than felon, or inconvenient to say a woman in prison rather than inmate. I do not see why anyone who values the dignity of those who have been caged would complain about the difficulty or inconvenience of uttering a few extra words to emphasize someone's humanity during the area of mass incarceration. There are many things that are difficult to manage during this period of our nation's history. Avoiding terms that reduce people to prison labels is not one of them. Now, the point what I'm trying to say on here is there are times when I would have conversation with people, I would say like extra syllables to make a point across. Like, let's just say, for example, I'll say things such as, we don't need things done differently. You know what I'm saying? Instead of, we don't need these things. I'll just add like a word or two to kind of explain my point. And this is not to impress people. This is not to kind of, to kiss butt, because I certainly don't do that. But it's also to try to explicate myself a lot better than the average Joe. Because I understand sometimes we do get lazy. We just want to say just the simpler terms instead of like extending it out and being more vocabulous. But I've always tell myself, man, I watch a lot of movies such as Lean on Me. Joe Clark, he expresses his words with some great vocabs and express it really well. He said things like to transform and transmogrify, those type of terms to pretty much express himself a lot. Now, some people say transmogrify. I would never say that word. But guess what? Sometimes the kind of show people that you know more than the average, you can express it in a way. And I've always had people came up to me, because I'm from Charleston, you know what I'm saying? So they would say, man, you don't sound like you're Geechee. But I can sound that way. But I just chose not to, because I'm trying to present myself at a better light. Now, I've listened to rap music. I listen to a lot of gangster rap music. But I also know how to present myself very well when I'm in public. I don't go around sagging my pants. I don't go around with clothes that may fit the stereotype of a gangster or a hood dude. Now, I do have a hoodie on. I do have pants and stuff like that. But I don't make it, or I try not to make it obvious that I'm dressing up like a hoodlum. And it's not to down anybody that dresses that way. I'm not here to judge. All I can say is that for those that's dressing this way, and I know some people say that's ignorant or stuff like that, and you're right, it is ignorant. It's ignorant in a way they may not understand. Because as I walk to the store or I go any public place, I would see guys that's walking around with their pants off their waist, and they just presenting themselves badly. And I don't like to intervene and tell, hey man, pull your pants up, man, or present yourself a lot better. I don't want to sit there and tell them that, because then I'm going to look like the bad guy. So I try not to really say anything, towards that manner, because, we as a people, we have a lot of fixing to do, man. We really do. So with that being said, this is just an example, or a sample, I should say, that I'm going to be presenting to y'all. Now, the reason why I said that part of the page is because that really caught my attention. I notice a lot of us, we speak in street slang a lot. I hear it at work. I hear it when I'm out and about my daily business. You know what I'm saying? I hear it a lot. And I've worked with people who speak these type of terms. And again, I'm not here to judge anyone. Of course not. It's just when I have a conversation with someone, sometimes I don't want to hear the profanity all the time. There's a time, a place to do such things. Now, when you're off work, or if you're not in a public place, you're at home and you want to talk that way, hey, so be it. But when you're out in front of people and you're presenting yourself in that manner, saying the term nigga this and nigga that and what the F, all that stuff. And I'm hearing that in public. I'm like, yo, man, this is crazy. This is crazy for y'all to even present yourself that way. But anyway, that's it. This is just a sample, like I said, and hope y'all enjoy the rest of what I got to present to y'all in the future. I got more books. I got a lot of books that I read. Now, some that I'll have on a fun tip, just, have a little fun of what I read. And then there's going to be moments that I just want to be really serious and look up some historic events, even some history, even some unsolved cases, murder cases that may have occurred. Because y'all know I'm a big Unsolved Mysteries fan for those that don't know. So I might talk about that, or actually I'm going to talk about that on this channel. So be on the lookout for those things, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace out.